Like leave the room?
No, I mean, no, I mean,
I guess.
no, I mean for joy.
You said leave the room.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? We've got Bearded Gear in the house tonight. This is a nighttime episode. Cheers to you, buddy, and cheers to you, everybody else. Sipping on the whiskey as usual. So
Pellegrino for me.
Nice. Which one is that? The blood orange? Or
Oh yeah, the only way to go.
Dude, I love that stuff, man. It's so good. Lefty EDC has done a lot for my channel. Sent me a bunch of knives to check out. And he was the one that told me to check your stuff out. And
He's a super cool dude.
Immediately, you know how they say game recognizes game. And I already knew right away that you were so personable on camera right away. First of all, how long have you been on YouTube?
Less than 3 months. I'm about to hit 3.
Doing so good, bro. I'm so impressed with the output and your the way you describe your thoughts on a knife, going through specs and things that you know about. It's just very clear and very natural. And that's something that not everybody has that, man. You know, it builds over time. And the fact that you have it right away is really good combination.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try hard to not go deeper than I understand. Like if I don't know something, I'll be the first person to tell you, because I don't want to speak from a position of authority that I don't hold. Like I just want to review knives the way that I look at them, and whoever sees value in that, great. But I don't need to. There's a billion tabletop reviewers who can get real scientific about internals and crazy just details that I look at before I buy a knife. But once I have a knife, I forget most of that stuff. I don't know if it's the same for you. Like once I own the knife, it becomes about the experiences with the knife and how it performs for me. I don't care what the actual ounces are. I don't care what the overall length is. Like that ceases to matter. It's about how it carries. How does it function? How does it perform? So I try to just express that in a way that people can pick up on, rather than being another person who's telling you exactly what it weighs, exactly how long it is. Like that's all. You can find that online. Go on the website of the person who makes the knife and do a little research for 2 minutes, and there you have it.
Yeah, man. People are talking about thickness behind the edge, and I'm like, are we talking about butts? You know what I mean? Like what?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I definitely don't know. My channel is strictly aesthetics, ergonomics, and action, because I live in New York City. I cut cardboard, and that's pretty much it. Cardboard and paper, and I like playing with flippers and thumb studs, and that's what I enjoy. You know, I just happen to have gotten over the Tac Force and M-Tech era of, you know, when you're starting your knife journey, and I'm here now along with everybody else. So I get excited when I see a knife that other people are hyped about. The Bombshell, man. Dude, the Bombshell. What's up?
Danger pickle.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, that is so crazy, because I am not always privy to the information that everybody is. I'm not on forums. I'm mainly on Instagram and YouTube, Twitter and TikTok, right? I don't really do the forums, and I don't follow the brand as much as other people. So when my homie puts up a stories, or I see, for example, you, right? Like we're homies now because I tagged you in a giveaway today. That's how you know knife people are brothers, because we tag each other. I did it to you today, but
because we're trusted. It's safe to do so, and I'm not gonna unfollow you for it. I get you.
Yeah, actually, dudes, for anyone listening right now, if you're on Instagram and you need to tag me for a giveaway, tag as much as you want. I do not mind that. I feel happy when people do that for me.
For sure.
You know,
fair game as well. I never get mad about it.
But so I'm not privy to the hype as much as most knife guys, but I saw your video on it, the Bombshell, and then I started looking into it, and I was like, damn, people really wanted this. And I started seeing more and more posts like, this is the Shamwari all over again, you know what I mean? With Wee Knives and Gareth Bull, right? And then I put up a stories of an elk, just you know, and people were messaging me. That's so funny. That's kind of my whole knife thing, is to just make people laugh, man. How did you get into YouTube, by the way? And how long have you been in the the gear hobby?
So I've been into gear for like my whole life. I'm the youngest of 5 kids. I've got 2 brothers who are older than me, and my dad is super into gear. He's been a CCW gun carrying, knife carrying guy my entire life. And so naturally, I just kind of had affinity for it. I grew up shooting and carrying a pocket knife, and I was really into hiking and outdoors and mountain biking. And that's like camping, all those things were what I just did because that's what I was raised on. And so I didn't really get like deep into knives until realistically, like probably 3 years ago is when I
Mm-hmm.
started collecting a little bit. Until that time, I still had like decent knives. Like my dad handed down a Benchmade Sentinel to me, which I don't know if it's
Wow.
super obscure, but this like 15 years ago was awesome. It's a titanium liner lock with aluminum bolsters. So it's kind of like a subframe lock and
Yeah.
external blade stop thumb studs. And like, I love this knife. And this was the kind of thing I carried, or like back in 2011, I got my first
Wow.
ZT. And so like I carried pretty good knives, not like I do now a lot of the time, but I only had like 2 or 3 knives at the time where I actively carry, and I'd carry one knife for a couple months and I'd switch it up to a different one. And
Mm-hmm.
now I change which knife I carry every day, like you probably do.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Is
so
that
for
what
the
you
past
do?
like,
Is that what you do mostly? You switch every day. I tend to carry the same thing for a little bit because it takes
really?
me a little bit longer. Because look, like, do you run into this problem also? We'll go back to your origins, by the way. I don't know. I have
Yeah, yeah,
ADHD, so like I forget.
you're
Um,
good. I'll keep track.
yeah, thank you. Like it takes me longer to be able to review something, especially if I'm gonna do like my full review, like the what's dope about it, what's whack about it thing that everybody loves.
Yep.
And those reviews take 6 hours to edit, like 45
Jeez.
minutes to shoot. So, I really have to get, spec heavy because I'm not as good as just talking about it. Like if I, TRM good, that's what I'm gonna fucking say. But but I love knives as much as the next guy. So I've been carrying the Neutron actually this entire week because I'm gonna
I
do the
love my
review
Neutron.
Sunday. Dude, we're gonna talk about that. The TRM love. So go back to
Yep.
your origins again. So you tend to switch out every day is the last thing that you said.
Yeah. So I guess to elaborate on that a little bit, when I'm reviewing a knife, lately my carry patterns are very different because I got like furloughed, laid off, whatever you want to call it, like immediately when COVID hit. And so I've just been from home, which simultaneously is when I finally started the YouTube because I had the time and
Mm-hmm.
space to do so. So I have a rule when I'm going to review a knife that I have to have it for at least a week and have packed in enough experiences with it. So because I'm home all day, every day now, unless I'm out hiking and filming, I can switch knives like 3, 4 times a day, and I do
That's
because
awesome.
as soon as I've like cut something with a knife and I've done a task with it, then I'll kind of check it off, and then if I want to, I'll switch to a different knife. So sometimes I'll carry one knife for the whole day. Like today, I just opened up the ProTech Malibu,
Dude,
the
that's so
reverse Tanto
crazy
one.
that you mentioned
So
that because I wanted to talk about that because I was just watching your other videos.
mhm.
And then out of nowhere, I'm on my way home on the train, and I'm like, "Yo, this guy uploaded another video, man!" Like, how many videos do you upload a day? You think on average?
Lately it's been 3 or 4. Um,
Wow, that's like more
sometimes
complex style, man.
I've never missed a day since I
Yeah.
started. I've always done at least one,
Hmm.
but there's only been it's more frequent for me to do more than one than to do just one. Um, but yeah, so like if I just got a new knife, of course I want to have it in pocket all
Yeah.
day and
Yeah.
like figure it out. But I also like if I'm going hiking, I'll typically carry one knife as my primary, but I'm bringing a bunch of gear to film, and so I'll just make points to find tasks to do with my knives so that I can speak from experience when I do talk about them.
Yeah.
Because it's a big pet peeve of mine when people do reviews of knives as if they've had experiences with them and they
Hmm.
haven't. And I feel like I can usually tell that, especially if like I'm not going to say any names. I don't mean to dog
Hmm.
on anyone. In fact, I thoroughly enjoy most YouTube knife
Yeah.
reviewers, but there's been a few times where I've bought a knife based off a recommendation that
Hmm.
a YouTube knife reviewer has made. And then
Yeah.
I've gone to use it and found the the approachability or the ease of use or even just the way it performs is so different from what they described. And then it makes me think, did they even actually really cut anything with this? Like, they're talking as if they cut 700 feet of cardboard and sharpened it 2 times, and really all they've done is like open one box with it, and it's been in 2 different pockets, and they're talking like it's a long-term review. So I always just make sure I've had it in a bunch of different pockets. I've carried it at least for hours at a time, several times, and then I've done significant cutting with it, not just packages, not just putting it through cardboard, but I'll try to do a little bit of paracord, some thicker rope. If it's a light EDC knife, that's about it. But if it's like an outdoorsy knife, then I'm going to be feather sticking with it. I'm going to be putting it through hardwood, softwood. I might chop with it. Sometimes I share videos of that. And I want people to see the type of use I'm doing so they know what my testing is like. And then they know either A, I'm less hardcore than this guy. So if he says his knife is performing to like this level and all of my use only ever gets to here, then great. I know that what I'm buying based on his recommendation is going to do everything I need to do super well. Or they'll know maybe they use their knife this much, like way harder than I do, and that happens. Then they also know, okay, he only took it to this level. So if I'm expecting it to go here, I can't just assume it'll do that because he said he tested it. I know his tests were below that level. So
yeah.
I
mean, with me, it's no, it totally makes sense, dude. You know, it's like, you know, I am a city dweller. I am a city dweller that's interested in the outdoorsy stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I think I just watched too much Joe Rogan and a lot of the bow hunters and shit, and I'm like, fuck, I want to do that so bad. I watch all the meat eater seasons as soon as they come out, and I'm like, oh, you know, my girlfriend last year took me to like a wild game restaurant because I wanted to eat like wild game so bad. It was amazing.
I love it.
Yeah, so you know, there's no hunting in New York City, bro. Like, we have no wildlife. Like Central
you can
Park,
hunt pigeons and cats.
It's like Central Park is like nature encapsulated. That's the most nature we can get, and it is beautiful. But it's like,
and it's curated though. It's not like real raw nature.
It's kind of like a snow globe, and it just encapsulated nature and kept it alive, and it's thriving. But it's not going out. You know, like I came from the Philippines. And I came from the countryside, you know, and I've like eaten weird shit like game, like snake, frog, you know, stuff like that, because that's how it was over there. But I'm, you know, it's funny. Like I'm a city dweller with like this weird like hunter's mentality thing.
You've got an affinity toward it.
Yeah, like I was like, man, how much does it cost to like do one of these trips where like my girl and I can go hunting together, like in upstate, you know? Yeah. And then we looked it up and shit. But then I'm like, fuck, I'm scared of Lyme disease. Because like there's so much up here. Dude, it's so crazy. Like in upstate New York, it's like the worst there is, I think, in the country. But anyway, yes, I've got that like mentality. But when it comes to using my knives, I'm literally just cutting maybe a bunch of cardboard to like recycle it. Right?
Sure.
And that's
before it goes in the bin. Yeah,
so it's like sometimes I get posts on Instagram, like when I post a knife or something, and they're like, oh, that's not a real cleaver, you know what I mean? Like I posted the Kaiser mini sheepdog, they're like, that's not a real cleaver, you know, they don't have this and that. And I'm like, dude, I cut cardboard. Like I'm not like there's no city crafting, you know what I mean?
And as long as you're open about your level of use,
right,
especially if you're reviewing, then that's like, I got no problems with people who don't use their knives at all, who just collect them, keep them in the box. Like that's cool, but don't lead people on to be like, this is going to be the best performer you've ever handled because you had it in hand and you somehow know that. Like you got to use it to be able to say you've used it, in my opinion. So yeah, I get a little bit of a pet peeve when someone's had a knife for 6 hours since it came out of the box and they're like, my full review, here's how great it is at performance. And it's like, no, you don't know. I'm sorry, but you can say you love it. You can say your first impressions are great.
Right, first impressions, yeah. I always emphasize like this channel is strictly an action, aesthetics, and ergonomics channel. And I'm going to show you knives in a cool way. I'm going to talk about them in this kooky, zany way that you're probably not going to get in other knife channels. You know what I mean? I'm trying to bridge that gap between like nerd and pop culture who create memes and act silly with knife people, you know? And at first I was like, who is going to listen to my podcast? And I was like, there's over 7 billion people in the world. There's got to be a few 100,000 of people that are like-minded like me. And it's starting to take off, man. Like, you know, what I notice about your channel is your views are very good, man. And I was
Thank you.
wondering, like, if there was something that you're doing, or is it the consistent posting that is driving up your statistics? I know that I mean, Metal Complex is like proof of that formula.
Yeah.
Like, have you watched him before?
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, the guy posts multiple times a day,
right.
and his channel has grown exponentially since
And fast.
yeah, since we were both in the Nick Shabazz contest, the sort of yeah, you're busy? You need to talk to
No,
somebody?
sorry, my daughter's peeking her head in.
Hello. Yeah, the Nick Shabazz contest, best new knife reviewer contest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Metal Complex won number 2 in every category, and he used that as fuel to go even harder, right?
For sure.
Your boy also won a category in there.
There you go.
Knife reviewer with the most unique voice. That felt very
good.
Yeah, and it was so funny because Nick said my name wrong. When he gave me the award, he was like, "Everyday City Commentary." I'm like, okay.
That's close enough.
Yeah. I mean, I was so honored that's what I knew. I was like, oh, because I don't have huge view numbers. My engagement is very good, meaning that people talk to me all the time and like want to send me knives, and I'm like, are you sure this is like $1,000 package? Like, you don't know me that well. Right. And I guess because of the podcast, they really got to know me, man. And that's why I wanted to get you on here. You're new to the scene, but you're growing fast. Like, I know you have a future in it.
Appreciate that.
Do you watch other YouTube? Like, do you know about the YouTube like kind of ecosystem, about what's going on outside of the knife community?
Yeah. Lately, most of what I watch is knife videos because I'm either making them or watching them. But yeah, I mean, I've watched a number of vloggers over the years, and I used to be really heavy in the automotive scene. I did a lot of automotive photography, and so I watched a ton of car reviews and like Matt Farah with his one-take car reviews.
Yeah. I've seen him on Joe Rogan's podcast a few times.
Great dude. Yeah. But yeah, so I've been a consumer of the type of media that I'm now trying to create for a long time. And frankly, I meant to start a YouTube, or should have started a YouTube a long time ago. It was just working full time and also having a young kid and all the craziness that goes along with adult life. I never like got around to it. So once I had the freedom to like the time and space to go ahead and just get started, I already had a good amount of knives in my knife collection to start making content with. And so I got really lucky too. I think it was the second video I uploaded. It was actually the first one I shot, was the Scorpion PM2, the River's Edge Cutlery exclusive. And it was right when that knife came out. I started the channel like when I got it. And so that first video, like immediately it got shared by like PM2 OG and Spyderco Collective, I think, the Millie PM2 Para 3 Club, which now I'm huge in. That's like my favorite Facebook club, and I'm super active in there. But because that first video like got shared by a couple of people, it catalyzed like my day one was like actually kind of good. Like in hindsight, it was very small, but for a first day on YouTube, it snowballed pretty well. And then it like boosted me to just keep going. And that first day I shot like 4 or 5 videos, I put them all up. And then the next day I shot 4 or 5 videos, I put them all up. Dude. My whole philosophy the whole time has been, especially when I didn't have anybody subscribe to me yet, I wanted to build a library of content so that if people did find my channel before subscribing, they saw a video because it was one knife they were interested in. They're like, who's this new guy, right? If they clicked on Bearded Gear, I didn't want them to see 3 videos, each a week apart, and they only like one of them, so they know they only like 30% of what I make. I wanted them to instead find 90 videos, 100 videos, and then when they click on me, it's like, oh, he's done a video about that knife I'm interested, that knife I'm interested. All of a sudden, they're watching 4 or 5 of my videos. They like my cadence, and then I'm way easier to subscribe to. So the other benefit of that as well is on YouTube, it's like the only platform in existence where mature content is favored. The video you make today is great for your subscribers, but it can keep rolling and rolling. Like I did a collection knife video of my current collection when I first started the channel as like a basis. Like, this is where I'm starting from. I'll update this every 3 months or so people can see how my collection evolves, but this is my collection. And that video to this day, I think it's at like 6,500 views or something,
Yeah.
which is my highest viewed video. And it's like every day it gets more and more views.
Yeah.
If I posted that on Instagram, 2 weeks after I post it, it's the most irrelevant thing ever. Posted on Twitter, you post it on any other platform, that stuff is like, it's old news. It doesn't matter anymore. YouTube, that maturity is a good thing. So yeah, I just wanted to like open the floodgates and pour it in. And especially while I've got so much time, like when the time comes for me to go back to like a full-time job, then I'll still be posting a video a day. It might not be 3 or 4, but there's a certain like secret sauce in the consistency. And those people who do get notifications, they keep seeing it.
Yep. One video a week is the minimum, I feel. And that's what I was doing, because I was only making those what's dope about it, what's whack about it, or do you forget about it videos. That's what my channel is known for. You know, a lot of editing, a lot of flashy stuff. That was what I figured was going to be my into the knife community, was that I didn't see anyone that knew how to edit in the knife community. I didn't know about Advanced Knife Pro yet. I knew about Nick Shabazz. I knew about some of the other guys. I didn't discover Advanced Knife Pro yet. So I wanted to just get flashy and like, oh, he's an Asian guy in New York City. Like, you know, fuck, like his experience must be crazy trying to be a knife guy over there. And then now he's doing YouTube. And my whole thing was doing it once a week. But now since I do at least one podcast a week. That's at least an hour and over. And then I do maybe 3 to 4 videos, maybe 2 unboxings and some other kind of first impression-y kind of stuff. And I've noticed a much bigger uptick in subscriber count. With Instagram, I just recently, maybe like in the past 2 weeks, I employed like a very rigorous posting schedule where I post 3 times a day. It is insane. And my numbers have grown. Like in a week, I've gotten 100 subs, and just it's just ramping up. I think with Instagram, it's better to post more. I mean, I've looked up, you know, the social media influencer guru type people to see like what their theories are. And that's one of the things about Instagram, is to just post a lot. Same with TikTok. I know that is the taboo thing to say in the knife community, but you know, you're talking about PM2OG. That man has some of the biggest viewer counts on TikTok, millions of views on videos, and he only has like 2,000 followers. So it's hard to do knife videos on TikTok. It's very hard. They will take down your video. That's one. So what I do, you have to show it in an artistic way, right? But TikTok is good for making quick videos that you don't have to spend a lot of time on. So I kind of figured out a way to like show specs and stuff where it doesn't get the community violation.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's what I'm doing on TikTok. On Twitter, like I post 1 video a day called Daily Knife Content, and I just break down a knife in under a minute, because most of my Twitter followers are like Black, Latino, gamer geeks, gamer and anime geeks like me that don't know anything about EDC. And now they're like jumping on like, oh shit, bro, like I really like this. You know, they tend to favor a lot of like flashy color, like Steel Will, what Steel Will is doing now with a lot of their flashy color palette stuff. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, you weren't moving for a second, but do you post anywhere else aside from Instagram and YouTube?
Not really. I'm pretty active in select Facebook.
Oh, Facebook,
groups.
You said, right? Yeah, I'm not that active on Facebook.
So I've always had a Facebook, just like personally, since high school or middle school even. And I didn't really start like using it for knife groups until somebody that I became close with on Instagram, like, I don't know, 2.5 years ago, a while back, invited me to join a relatively small Facebook group. At the time, it was called the Sharp Spot. It's changed now. I'm actually a moderator in it now. It's Edge Addicted. And that group kind of got me into Facebook groups in general. And then as I got more into like buying, selling, and trading knives, I found that was an avenue I could use efficiently, because I love buying, selling, and trading knives. It's how I'm able to try a lot of stuff. So I use Instagram, Facebook, and Reddit to buy, sell, and trade. And each one kind of has its own different audience and different style of how quick things move, who buys what. and who price polices, who doesn't. Like, there's different audiences there. So I started using it pretty heavily, Facebook that is, to sell knives as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into more niche groups like Spyderco groups. And if I had a microtech to sell, it's like, I'm going to join a microtech group. And then it's like, oh, this group is actually kind of fun. These people are crazy.
Yeah.
So now, yeah, so now there's a couple of like core Facebook groups that I post in almost daily. And I'm pretty active because the community there
Mm-hmm.
feels like because the pages
like tighter?
Yeah, because like the Millie PM2 Para 3 Club is my favorite Facebook group by far. And it's like 5,500 members at this point, and they're growing
Mm-hmm.
pretty steadily. But because everybody who's in there has already agreed, we love the Millie PM2 Para 3, or any of those three, we like that family of knives from Spyderco. It becomes this like, most posts kind of have to do with that, or at least close, but everybody has like this camaraderie of we've all already agreed upon something. Whereas like Instagram itself, I'm super active on Instagram. I post daily. I'm very engaged on there, but there's less of a agreed upon, like everyone likes the same thing.
Yeah.
Everyone likes knives, but people disagree like crazy, and it
people
gets like
disagree like crazy, for
contentious
sure,
sometimes.
dude. Yeah.
So I like having kind of the three. I don't mess with Twitter. Never have.
Dude,
even personally.
Here's the thing that I want to talk about a little bit with the different platforms and why I ask, right? Nick Shabazz was talking about this. You know, Nick Shabazz has started streaming on Twitch lately.
It's video game stuff, yeah.
Yeah, he's done a very interesting thing. So he plays Diablo 3, which is a game that I play. And what he does is, while he's playing, he answers knife questions from people in the chat, which is a very, very smart move, okay?
That's awesome.
You know, when I did a podcast with him, he was like, look, it only takes, like, YouTube already doesn't like our shit that much. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, it only takes the sponsors and the ad companies to say, like, look, we don't want that stuff on anymore, and they're going to kick us all out. Same with Instagram, who's already blocking some of the hashtags that we were using last year, right? You had to revamp your hashtags. I have a list in my phone that I copy, groupings of or whatever. And, it's the reason why I'm on all the platforms is, one, I want to just have my own base in each one.
Sure.
For example, Joe Rogan is leaving YouTube because he signed a $100 million deal with Spotify. That's happening in September 1st.
That's a big one.
So I was like, man, I got to get all my stuff on Spotify once video happens. Then because I'm on this, when I distribute the audio versions of the podcast, I use an app called Anchor, and Anchor distributes it to iTunes, everything, all in one shot, right? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, man, I hope it does it to Spotify. And then I saw, like, all my podcasts are already on Spotify right now. So I already have a channel. So when that move happens and Joe starts making exclusive content to Spotify because Spotify is going to have video now, because they're preparing it just for Joe Rogan. I'm assuming that, I don't know if you have to pay to have that feature, but I'm definitely going to pay just to be on there, because it really only takes, like, dude, the way you describe how you think about the different it's different kind of like ecologies of, like, Facebook, Reddit. Like, you have to act differently on each platform, and I think you have the chops and social media intelligence to, like, succeed on any platform that you want. And let me ask you this, like, if you could do this for a living, you could support your family and everything, would you do it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So for years already, my wife does social media for a living. That's what she does. And so I've had to be pretty involved with that in terms of, like, content creation, helping by taking photos and helping to word blog posts and all kinds of stuff. And so I certainly know that reality exists, but the knife world is smaller than the mommy blogger world.
Infancy, bro. We are in our infancy, but it only takes 100%. Like Drake to go, I EDC now, and then all of a sudden, like, who are they going to look up? Oh, Action Bronson is like, I like this bearded gear guy. Like, I'm going to follow him. Like, it really only takes one shift. And in today's world, that can happen at any given moment. You know what I mean? Like the number 2 Pokemon blogger, right, was probably not making a lot of money, and then Pokemon Go came out, and the entirety of Earth played it, and that person probably made a crap load of money. So I think that it's the same for the knife community, man. I've thought many times, like, damn, man, I spend so much time thinking about what to make, what my, you know, because I don't have a lot of time. I work 6 days a week. It's kind of like what you were saying, you were working full time. I work 12 to 8, 6 days a week, you know, and it takes me 2 hours to commute back and forth. So like I am filming in the morning. I do my podcast, you know, anytime I can, like tonight.
Right.
And, but I'm thinking like, why am I doing this? I'm not monetized yet. I can be, but I don't. And people are people that are sub to me are like, dude, please make a Patreon so we can give you money. And I don't want to just take their money without giving them something special. You know what I mean? But I'm like, why do I keep doing this? I'm not making any money. And I'm like, I love doing it. It's like my favorite thing to do because I think about it all the time. So like, why wouldn't I, you know, and that shift can happen and I can actually make a living out of it. It'd be great if it was like a side hustle or something like that. So I like to ask my guests if they would love to do this, you know, and most people say yes. I've had some people that were kind of like, oh, I'd still like to do something. That's interesting, man, that your wife is a mommy blogger, right? Like kind of a family. That's big, man. That's a big space.
Yeah, it's been for a long time. It was a grind getting that going, which starting any influencer career is going to be
any business thing. Really, right? Any small business really. It takes time, man.
Exactly. But for the last couple of years, she's been at a point where she has like a substantial income. Like there's months where if I focus and help her too, and she's really on it and getting a bunch of campaigns, like she'll make more than I was making full time by doing what she does. So
how long has she been doing it? 10 years or something?
No, my daughter's 5 and she started about when my daughter was born. So give or take like 5 years.
That's about the right amount of time. Cause you know, you start, I think like once you pass like a certain subscriber mark, your numbers kind of like the math works. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Metal Complex was around 3,000. Once he hit 5, it was just same with Slicey Dicey. I knew these guys before they were in their almost 20,000 subs. You know, Nick Shabazz, I found him when he was at 16,000 subs, and that was a long time ago. And he was like, it just took off after a while. Like the algorithm helps you out, your subscribers share your stuff.
Right. I already find that even compared to 2 months ago when I was starting, the ease of getting a new subscriber, it's like worlds
way
easier now.
Yeah.
By staying consistent, it's not like I'm doing much other than I'd like to think I'm refining a little bit my style and I'm finding a different groove. But the rate at which I'm able to get new subscribers without having to like really overly engage and be watching as many other videos as I can and commenting on stuff. Like if I'm just putting out good content now, the followers kind of naturally
You've got the thing, man. I'm telling you, like when I've never watched your stuff before until Lefty EDC. This is how you know that YouTube is so massive. Like a person can have, like, I'm going to give a good example. My homie, Mr. Old Man, right? It's funny because he's like, I think he's like 22 years old, but he calls himself Mr. Old Man. This guy has been YouTubing for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Knife guy, knife YouTuber. That's a photographer too. Really cool channel. Like people are always asking him if he's on drugs because he drinks a lot of Monster when he does videos, and like all his comments are like, "Are you on cocaine?" but really funny, really amazing dude. You know, going back to your collection video thing that you talked about, he was doing collection videos, one for every year, and I think in 2016, one of his collection videos just became viral, millions of views, over 3 million views now. He's raking in like $400 a month just from that video alone.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so like where was I going with this? What were we talking about again?
Making the content consistently for a long time.
Yeah, you know, it's just funny like how this algorithm helps you out, you know. And he's a perfect example. He's pretty big. He's got like over 20,000 subscribers, but I never heard of him until I accidentally found one of his videos. You know, it's that's just it, man. I think that what I'm trying to do with this podcast platform is allowing us to hang out with each other.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Go out and come back in.
Hello.
Yep.
Like leave the room?
No, 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 no. I mean, no, I mean,
I guess.
no, I mean for Joey.
You said leave the room. Hold on.
That's the introduction to the podcast. That right there, dude.
That's how
It's
you know
so
I'm not a
funny.
real millennial.
It's so funny too
when
because
you say leave the room and I go that way. I was like, I don't know what this is gonna do, but maybe the distance.
That's cool. We bonded over that. That was hilarious. What were we talking about again? I know I was rambling about something. Like, oh yeah, I'm trying to use this podcast platform to allow us sort of like, you know, we are outcasts in a group of outcasts. Like our niche is weirder than most. You know what I'm saying? And I want to use this for just, you know, for us to hang out and, you know, share our thoughts on things. Like our numbers are going to grow also. You know, the Joe Rogan podcast basically is the catalyst for West Coast comedy. I mean, he is the epicenter, and everyone that's been on that podcast or has befriended him is some of the biggest comedians today. You know,
Absolutely.
like why couldn't we do that with the EDC community? And I always say this, I'm going to use Blade Banter. I don't know if you know of his channel. Blade Banter.
I've seen it, but I don't actively watch.
He basically runs the administrative duties for the Apex Pass Around group. That's a pass around group I'm a part of. We have companies like Civivi, all these big companies send us stuff. We get to check them out. Sometimes we get to raffle it at the end, and whoever reviews it gets a chance to win it, which is awesome, right? Makes knife reviewing sustainable. He just designed a knife, and it's about to come out on Kickstarter. And I always say, like, wouldn't it be great if everyone had like a little podcast, whether it's 30 minutes or an hour, and he could be a guest on each of those, promote the knife, which is probably dope. Like I've seen it, it's a button lock and I already love it. And then you get more traction for him. Let's say you, I don't know, like you made a flashlight or something. That's really awesome. And you wanted to like, just get a little bit more awareness from it. You know, you could come on here. You're more than welcome to come on here anytime you want, man. Like that's,
appreciate that.
I leave that door open for anyone who is a guest on this. Daily Carry Solutions was covering SHOT Show, like professionally. Like a lot of companies hired, I think VanQuest hired him, and he talked about it on my podcast, and that, you know, boosted his numbers for him, you know, at the show.
For sure.
And that's what I'm trying to do with the podcast, man. It is a formula that works on YouTube, especially. So like, why can't the EDC community have it? And there are a lot of EDC podcasts right now. Not a lot are doing it with video. And at this level where I'm posting consistently every week and having like people from all walks of life. Like I was going to have that girl from TikTok, the magician girl, man, Royal Pain is Me. She had to cancel tonight. We're doing it probably. Yeah, she's going to a wedding tomorrow and her parents are like dressing her up and stuff. So yeah, it's like a young girl, man. I think she's only 21, has like 50,000 subs on TikTok. Amazing card tricks, but she EDCs too. I didn't even know that. She hit me up and she was like, hey man, I've been EDCing for a while. I'm trying to get more spider codes. And I was like, it was blowing my mind. This is a New York City gal, a young gal that like is into like our thing, you know?
I love it.
Yeah. What are you carrying most right now, dude? Let's get some knife talk going. What are you carrying most right now?
That's a difficult question because I switch so much.
All right, so, what do you like right now? What did you have last? The ProTech, right?
The Malibu was in my pocket today because I just opened it up.
That sounds just like a ProTech. That sounds so sick.
It's so I had a Mordax for a minute.
Me too. I got to check one out.
Yeah, I had one for a couple months. I got a good deal on it from a buddy who was selling it, and I kept it for a while. And then, like, when I realized this was coming out, I was like, I'm just going to sell my Mordax and get one of those. So that's what I did. This is really cool. Smaller than the Mordax in a good way. Like the dimensions are better for me. Recently, the Capara's been in my pocket a ton.
Oh, dude, I have
really
a Capara
like
too.
The Capara.
Love it. Yeah.
Great knife. The Danger Pickle, of course. I've been carrying this as a secondary.
What does that feel like exactly? I mean, is it like, you know, I in your comment section, I was like, this is like Spyderco and ZT had a baby. That's what this thing looks like, you know?
Yeah.
Is it heavy, like chunky?
Yes. So for its size, like
Mm-hmm.
it's smaller than a
Mm-hmm.
pair of three by
Yeah.
just a hair, but
Yep.
it's definitely heavier than a pair of three. And a pair of three is not like a light knife for its
Yeah. Yep.
size.
Yep.
It's like everything about it is thick. I said in my video, it kind of feels like you're holding a pickle. Like everything's very rounded, very smooth, everything's contoured. Even a lot of people like dog on Tai Chung knives, like all the edges
Mm-hmm.
are usually rough. This one, they're like super knocked down, like way
Rounded.
smoother than they are on
Ooh,
any of my Golden Colorado Spydercos.
nice.
So everything is just kind of like soft about it. It
Mhm.
actually like really works for me as a knife. The clip is
Yeah.
a little tight, and it's like it's a stubby thing, so you feel it in the pocket, but it's
Mhm.
not so heavy. It's not big enough to be that
Mhm.
heavy. It's just heavy for its size.
Is it like just one of
Yeah,
those, it's not practical, but it's just like a cool knife kind of feeling? Because like I love to have
yeah.
knives like that too. You know what I
I
mean?
think it's. I love knives that are practical enough, and this
Yeah.
is practical enough. Like this
Nice.
is far from the most practical knife I own. Not even close, and I don't think it's trying to be. But yeah, it'll cut great. It's hollow ground, and it's actually pretty thin behind the edge. Came stupid sharp, like most Taichung knives
Hmm.
do. The ergos are comfortable. Like I could cut with this all day long and be fine with it. But it's also quirky and heavy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
chunky and thick, and like,
Like
and
what
that's
is it
cool.
advertised as? Like what it's supposed to be meant for? Like outdoorsy stuff or?
I don't even know if they picked a thing. Because so I first heard about that knife in the SHOT Show videos when
Yeah.
Eric Lesser sat down with Blade HQ and a couple other
Hmm.
people interviewed him. And you know how they do it. They put a bunch of different knives that are come in that quarter on the table. And so when he talked about it, the first time I saw it, I was like, that thing looks pretty cool. Like I would definitely like to get one of those. And then I forgot about it completely because Spyderco's come out with so much stuff. And then like, I don't know, a month ago, somebody put in that Facebook group I'm in,
Hmm.
they were like, does anyone know when the bombshell is dropping? And I was like, what's a bombshell? And should I be
Yeah.
scared that it's dropping? Right. So I
Yeah.
re-looked it up and I was like, oh, that knife. I was excited for that one. So yeah, it's just one of those that like I was excited to get, but
Yeah.
I don't think Spyderco, like the only real advertising they did for it was that it's a flash batch. Like that's the thing that's going for it, is that they're only making 1,250 of them. And then Eric Glesser even said in some of the videos, like, then we're destroying the tooling. So even if we made another like bombshell variant down the line, it would inherently be different. We won't make it the same. And
Wow.
so I think that's,
Sprint run.
yeah. So
Hey, am I
I
coming
actually,
through okay, like audio wise? There's no
audio
static,
is,
no.
but
Yeah.
your video is frozen.
Yeah, it's weird because your video is frozen. Now it's unfrozen. I don't know why that is. Let me do something here. I'm gonna take my phone off of Wi-Fi and maybe that'll do it. Yeah, I've got like too many devices, man. You know, I'm like a huge tech nerd too. Like I don't I said this before in a podcast. I literally have not bought a knife since I bought the Artisan Cutlery Copper Small Archeo by Dylan
Hmm.
Mallory.
I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had not bought anything else after that. But stimulus check came and I bought a new smartphone, which I used to film everything, and it's $760. My
Jeez.
tablet breaks down. I had to buy a new one just a couple of days ago. It's $560. And I haven't bought a knife, dude. But it's
That's
funny that
nuts.
like I love talking about taking pictures of knives. You talked about like knives that are, gram worthy. And like
Right.
sometimes you just want to have them because they're gonna look good on this wood grain top. And like
Oh
I
yeah.
get that too, like that's where I get my rocks off.
It's
But
fun.
yeah, I love like the subject matter.
Yep.
It's just that I think that I think about the hobby differently. Uh, when I was on the podcast with Dylan Mallory, Daily Carriage Solutions was like, yo, man, for Ray to buy a knife, like this dude never buys knives. Everything is just passed around to him. And I bought the
Yeah.
small Archeo, so he really liked that. Do you mess with any import knives at all? Like, or are you only into like US made stuff? Are you
Yeah.
only into
So
American brands or?
it's funny. I I did a video a couple weeks ago, might have been a
Mm-hmm.
month ago, about it was on Memorial Day. I did a video. I filmed it that day, put it up that day, of all my USA made knives. And I was telling you earlier in the DMs that I rarely refilm a video. Like
Mm-hmm.
usually I shoot everything in one take. And when I edit it, all I'm doing is I'm cutting the beginning where I'm like sitting in front of the camera, and the end where I'm turning it off. And then I just adjust audio levels. But every now and then I'll be like a minute into a video and I don't like the way I got started. I'm not like quite headed down the path I wanted, so I'll redo it. But that video I fully reshot. I shot it once and realized I spent like 15 minutes chiming in on the whole like USA made only conversation.
Yeah.
And then so I scrapped it because it was a 30-minute video and half of it wasn't the knives. It was me talking about that topic. So then I was like, all right, I'm gonna start over. And then again, on accident, I just went like 10 minutes deep into that. And so I sat down again. I was like, all right, I started filming this 2 times before I did this, but I'm just gonna talk about the knives. If you guys want to hear me talk about the USA versus foreign made knives, like I could do that in another video. Let's just show my USA made knives. So I've been teetering on whether I want to like make a video just about that, but I give strong preference to USA made knives.
Yeah.
Like if I can buy USA made, I would prefer to.
You know what's crazy? I'm going to chime in on that right now because TRM actually got me into wanting to buy more USA made stuff because of the quality, right?
They're a perfect example of somebody who's doing it right.
Dude,
for the right price, with the right materials.
I'm in love with TRM.
Yeah.
Somebody posted my TRM Atom review, which I traded for the Neutron. It's funny that you got the Neutron first and then you got an Atom, right?
I got both.
Yeah. So I won the Atom in a raffle through the Apex Pass Round group because I reviewed it, right? And I was like, oh snap. And then someone posted in TRM's Facebook group like my review. And then Marianne like reached out to me because I was like, listen, I will make content for you guys for free. I just want to check out your stuff. I don't even need to keep it. I just believe in your message. You know, your company has had a great impact on me, you know, and it's so funny. Marianne was like, wow, you really have a great voice. And like in the video, I dress up as my mom and I have a wig made out of magazine paper. And I'm like flipping at him, like pretending it's awesome. But she liked the video and stuff, and just the sweet like interaction I had with her.
They're good people,
dude. I and then I saw her on the Knife Junkie, and I was like, wow, like this lady is super genuine, and like I just want to support them. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of imports too. Like I said, I don't buy a lot of knives, you know. But I kind of like I want to hinder her. I don't know if like Metal Complex had an influence on me when I had him on the podcast, but I'm tending to look more at USA made stuff now because I've done all the $50 budget, $100 range, you know, Kaisers. I love Wii. Okay, there are still Wiis that I have not gotten, and you know, I love them. I love Civivi. I love all that, but I kind of want to see what the next level is, and it's usually USA made stuff. You know, then you get into the customs and the mid-techs, like the Shiros and all that stuff. That's way, way down the line for me still.
Right.
You know, but yeah, man, I've been more interested in it now, USA made stuff.
Yeah, and I think there's more USA made stuff than a lot of people realize. Like if you wanted to have a big knife collection and only have USA made stuff, you could do that.
Yeah.
But there's so much good stuff coming from out of country now. And it's not all just China. Like there's good knives coming from Italy. There's good knives coming from Taiwan, which is basically China, but not quite. I just got a fixed blade from Half Breed Blades not that long ago. They're out of Australia, which is cool. Like there's outside knives that are great, and not all USA made knives are good because they're made in the USA. I think sometimes people get so like, hoorah, only USA made stuff, but I've had US made knives that are junk. Like I don't have any affinity towards like low end Gerber knives or low end Kershaw knives or like low end SOG knives. Like I'm sure some of them are gems or kind of diamonds in the rough, but I've had plenty of those like low end US brands that they're not worth having in my opinion. Meanwhile, I can get a Civivi for $40-$50 and it's like excellent action, good materials.
And sometimes an awesome designer like Elijah Isham or something. It's like, what? This is 100%. Like $50, you know?
And same thing with like some of my favorite makers and designers. Like I had a Sharp by Design Evo Typhoon, the first run that he did. That was made by Riat. And the level of quality in that knife. I think Brian did a great job at working with Riat to make sure they like really hit all of the marks that he expected of them. And some people give those manufacturers a little too much leeway and put too much trust in them to make decisions. But that knife, as a production version of a custom that I will never spend that much money. I say that now. That might change because I've said that about $500 knives before and then spent that. But I don't have $1,200 to throw at one of Brian's customs. And I would.
I'm not that kind of Asian, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you know?
But yeah, so to get a like for $300 is what I paid for that one, made by Riat. The tolerances were amazing. The action is legit. They use his detent system. Like that was a fantastic, one of the nicest knives I've owned. And just because it was made in China doesn't mean I'm gonna turn my nose. No, I'm not gonna have it. Like it's a U.S. designer, so that helps me feel better too. It's at least somewhat involved, but yeah, I don't want to miss out on gear that's great because it's not made in the US. But I do, like, if you look through my knife case right now, it's probably like at least 60-40, maybe 75-25 even, US made to foreign made.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, I'm trying to amass more like keepers that are US made. But I'm not going to not buy Tai Chung Spydercos. Like, I have no problem with that. Literally zero. I've got a couple in my case right now, and I love them, and they're great knives.
You have any ZTs?
I do. So I have, it's funny, I have an 0350. This knife my wife gave me when we were dating back in 2011. So this is like one of my longest owned knives. And then
I miss the old ZT. Do you?
Oh, dude.
I miss the old chunky, Fast and the Furious, modded, anno everything kind of ZT era. I miss that. The 0456, the even the 0055, even that, like the weird ass knives. Chunk of metal, great action, you know, just awesome designer. I miss that ZT. I want them back. I want them back.
I have that 0350, which I've had for forever. And then I have an 0620, which my wife got me for my birthday like 2 or 3 years ago. It was right when they got discontinued and they were on sale at Blade HQ for like $120 or something, which now the 0620 goes for a lot. I'm picking that knife back up tonight. My buddy just made a Tarot Tough scale for it. He's local, so I'm grabbing it when he gets off work. And then for my birthday, which is next week, something like that, in a week.
That's like me. I forgot what age I was 1 year.
I ordered a ZTO 308, which is from my wife, but I picked. So that's coming, and I know exactly where it is, but I can't open it yet. So that I think is like the return to proper ZTs. From what I've seen a lot of people say. But
I miss the old stuff, man. You know, where you had this designer.
I can't hear you again.
Oh shit, for real?
Should I stand up and leave?
No. Just do the same thing. What do you do in terms of like post-production? I know you were taught. I was amazed that, first of all, what do you use to record your videos? Do you have like a selfie stick? Do you have a tripod? Like I see you walking around. That's one of the coolest things about your video is you walk around like hills and like woodsy, outdoorsy areas, and you just go like that. That's awesome,
so
dude.
Most of the like hiking footage, I'm just on my iPhone 11 Pro Max with this. I've got.
That's a great camera. That phone is a great camera. My girl has that camera. Really good pictures. Really good everything on that.
Yeah. So I have we use a DSLR mostly for what my wife does. We have a Nikon D850, which is a great camera. But I've been wanting a Sony mirrorless for video for a long time, and we just yesterday finally ordered. It'll be kind of for my wife's birthday was yesterday. My birthday's next week. Our anniversary was this month, so we're just like, it's for us because she can use it for what she does too. But
that's awesome, dude. I can't wait for that, man. You're gonna make some sick videos of that.
Dude, yeah. So
are you using Premiere?
No. So all I do at the moment is I shoot on the iPhone.
Yeah.
I drop it into iMovie on the iPhone.
Okay, I've used that before too.
I trim the edges. If there's multiple clips, which is rare, usually I just do one take. But if there's multiple clips, like I get another angle or something, then I splice it all together in there. And then I adjust audio levels because everybody kept saying in the beginning, like, dude, we can't hear you. My volume's all the way up and you're way too quiet. So now I make sure I adjust audio on every video, just drag that bar there. and then I export it back to my
Mm-hmm.
phone finished, and I upload it just like that. It's like
Yeah.
the longest part of it is waiting for it to export because I shoot it in 4K. But
Yeah, I
once I
think
get the Sony, I'll probably do. I
a
don't know
little bit
what
more.
I'll use. I'll need to figure out what my preference is
So
on
it
the
was a
laptop
Sony,
to
is
edit.
what you got, right?
Yeah, Sony
Hmm.
A6600, and then I've got a 16 mil
Yeah.
1.4 Sigma lens coming for it too.
Yeah, people usually go because I know a couple of cinematographers that are like so sick. This is why when people compliment me like, "Oh man, your cinematography, your editing is so good," and I was like, "You guys have no idea what's out there. You guys have no idea." Okay.
Well, you're above my pay grade at this
Yeah.
point.
Like I know that you didn't watch that backpack V video because if you did, you would have came back and said, "Bro, this is on another level."
I do still need to watch them. Haven't yet.
You look like that man is the future. Like I know it. He's such a
Oh,
nice
okay.
guy too, but the level of quality. First of all, that BRS video that he did that I linked you to, I put up a stories and showed a clip of it, and I was
Mhm.
like, I tagged BRS and I was like, "Yo, this man is doing you a favor." And then BRS messaged me and he was like, "Who is he?" I gave him his information and that started communication between them two. And they were like, "Yo, we
That's
want to
awesome.
send you some stuff." This guy is
Heck
like
yeah.
less than 300 subs. He's going to be massive. I've never
That's crazy
seen
cool.
this level of quality. It's like a TV show. It's like so well produced,
Mm.
transitions, everything. He's a motion graphics guy that loves
Oh,
knives.
nuts. Yeah.
And but yeah, like what I noticed with cinematographers is there's Canon guys and then there's Sony guys. It's different
Mhm.
codecs and they usually just stick to one. So like,
Yep.
you know, like my Sony friends will be like, "Oh, they'll send me footage," and I'm like, "Hey, can you use this?" And my Canon friends are like, "Oh, I can't. It's a different thing." So if you're gonna go with
Right.
Sony, you're probably gonna go with Sony like forever, you know. But it's good.
Yeah.
It's
You
good,
buy
dude.
into the ecosystem. That's
Yeah,
the way
yeah,
it
yeah.
works.
Man, if I get some cash, you know, maybe I've got a long lost uncle like Scrooge McDuck leaves me some money. I would definitely go DSLR, nice computer, either Premiere or Sony Vegas or something like that, and just go to town on the cinematography. I used to do a lot of vlogs around the city where like I would just, you know, like I'll be talking and stuff, and then I'll go
Yeah.
into the review, kind of
Oh,
like
for
what you
sure.
do, where like you're outside
Hmm.
and then you'll be talking about the knife kind of like on the rocks or something where there's water, but like I'm doing it like in the city, not with the knife though because I'll get
Yeah.
arrested, but then
Right.
you know what I
I'm in
mean?
LA. I get that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's crazy. What's always interested me about California is like you guys can have like outdoors. It's like a city but you can
Yeah.
have like mountains. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. No, like literally yesterday, I was in downtown LA picking up donuts for my wife's birthday, and it's without traffic, which right now, because of the
Yeah.
craziness of the situation,
Yeah.
everything that's happening in 2020, traffic is actually not that bad right now. So I was like into downtown LA in 25 minutes. But if I drive
Nice.
25 minutes the opposite direction from where I live, I'm in Angeles National Forest, which is like a
Wow.
massive, expansive, like some serious
Hmm.
elevation. I was up there 2 weeks ago, one of the high points, and hiking still on snow. Like there's a big diversity, and a lot of people, even here in LA, have no idea that that exists. They see the mountains up there, but
Yeah.
if they go on a hike, they're going to hike to the Hollywood sign in Griffith Park, and there's people carrying chihuahuas, and there's girls
Yeah.
hiking in high heels. Like it's not real
Did
hiking
you
like
see that
like
picture
I
of
do.
that mountain lion in front of the Hollywood sign?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a bunch of them up there.
Dude, that's crazy. That's
Yeah,
so awesome, man. Yeah, I've like, you know, listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, he's always talked about like how in California you can have like everything. You can have
yep,
city, you can have like no seasons. It's not
yeah.
like New York City. You're just miserable during the winter season because, you know, you gotta like I own military boots that are 100% waterproof because of the winters here. It's not even
Yeah,
because I'm in the military. Like I just
for
use it to
sure.
walk in the snow, you know. Yeah, man, I've been to LA a few times. I was DJing before I did YouTube
Oh,
for like
rad.
10 years.
Very cool.
Yeah, I like spun at Electric Daisy Carnival and all those big festivals before. I did a
The
tour
other
out in
EDC.
California. Yeah, the other EDC. It's funny because like when
Every
I
time I
talk,
hashtag it, I think, are
yeah,
people that go to EDC going to be looking at my knife picture so confused?
they do, but now they kind of know, and I think some of them are into the knife hobby too. You know,
Okay.
it's interesting, man. That whole ecosystem that I was in, and then I got into creating content for YouTube, and I just found it way more fun. Even though I was doing pretty good with the DJing, like I would get a gig for 1 hour and I'd get like $3,000. You know what I mean? But then sometimes that hour isn't there for like months.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because like if
I
I'm
feel
in
that.
my home,
I come from a sales background. It can be
yeah,
feast or famine. Yeah.
yeah, dude, it's tough, man. So you know what? Let's. I wanted to talk about something. Back to the imports and USA made stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only problem that I have, and I don't mean to get political, but this has been like killing me for a long time, is that I don't know if you saw the post with like Liang Ma, like
Yeah.
he
Yeah, I saw
made a
that.
post and like people just flamed them
Dogged him. Yeah.
like crazy, and I'm like, yo, this guy did nothing wrong, right? And I understand, like people don't want to support the Chinese government in any way, but I'm like,
Right.
throw away all your fucking iPhones then, all of them.
Right.
Throw away all your iPhones. If you don't own a Samsung, because Samsung moved their factories out of China, you're using Chinese stuff.
Right.
There's Chinese stuff in your house right now. Like you can't pick and choose if that's the stance you're gonna take. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I have a problem with. I do understand that the US kind of dropped the ball and like outsourced everything to China.
Sure.
This
So
quarantine
that's my thing is like,
like that was a mistake that needs to be corrected.
sure.
I do think that we should keep everything in-house and try to figure out a way to get this whole scene of people like crafting things like on Etsy, making a living, making a small business, making leather goods, making sheaths for knives. Like I have admiration for that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's amazing. And I think more of that should happen, So,
yeah,
but
I think we need to get to a point too where there's production options for these companies, because knife making isn't just Chris Reeve and Koenig and Zero Tolerance, Kershaw, and Spyderco. Like
Strider.
There's some collaborations that happen with those people, but if I was designing a knife right now and I wanted to have a knife built, like if I was really good at CAD and had a knife for design, and like one day, who knows, I might really like to try that kind of thing. I frankly would. But if I wanted to have a knife made at a like startup business, one guy operation type of cost to me to have it done and have it done high quality, there isn't a US manufacturer that I could realistically go to who's set up to do that like the Chinese players are. And so I think it's got to be frustrating if you're one of those people who it seemed like all of a sudden the tone completely changed, and it went from like a lot of people were like, I prefer US made, like I try to buy US made stuff, and then all of a sudden like one day a bunch of people drew a line in the sand and they're like, I'm never buying anything Chinese again. Which, to your point, yes, you are. Your car is Chinese, your phone is Chinese, your TV is Chinese.
Dude, like your fridge.
Be realistic.
There are parts like everywhere in your house that are Chinese.
Yeah. And so I get like, I personally fall on the line where I would prefer to buy US. And when it's possible and I can still get the better product from the US, I'll pay a little bit more for it. I don't even have a problem with that. Like
like TRM.
I'll pay $250.
I understand the price. I understand the price, man.
I said in my video just yesterday on this one, they could charge a lot more for this and people would buy it. They're very fair with what they charge at TRM. But
you know what's crazy is you said that like when you saw the Atom and the Neutron, you were like, I didn't find it appealing at all. And I felt the same way, dude. When I got that Atom in my hand, I was like, okay, I got to bow down. I understand what people are talking about now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've had several knives that before I had them, I was like, I'm not so sure about it. Even like the Spidey Chef. I don't own one, but I borrowed my brother's for a week to check it out.
How is that?
I thought that knife was pretty ugly. But then once I had it and felt the ergos, and it was like, oh, now the design makes sense because it feels this way. And then you look at it different because your perception of it is different than just seeing it in pictures. And I've had plenty of knives that either looked better in pictures and then I got them and I was like, ooh, I'm not so sold on the way this actually looks in person, or totally the opposite where it's like, give this a try because I like the materials, I like the weight, I like the like functionality of it, and then it shows up and it's like, oh, this thing is actually like in person, this looks really cool. If I pulled this out in front of people who weren't even knife people, they'd probably say like, that's a cool knife, you know?
Yep.
But
TRM was definitely one of those surprises where I was like, holy crap, man. I see why they're always sold out. You know what I'm saying? Because they keep
and every time they do a batch, it's like they can't make enough of them, which is another point to if you want to make knives in the US, like I've the times where I've seen like new makers try to accomplish that kind of thing, who do they go to? I know Millet has done a couple of runs for people, and that's not usually gone so well in terms of like timelines and QC. I know Millet makes some great knives, and I haven't had a bad knife made by Millet, but there's not like production options here. So it's just unfair to people like Liang Ma, who's
like an all-around stand-up dude, kind of.
You've owned a couple of his knives, and then all of a sudden, and he's still doing the same thing he's been doing for years. So all of a sudden, to like villainize him like he's anti-American and hates our country because he's having knives made elsewhere.
Here's the thing where it got like
much
really
shadier businesses you should be going after.
Here's where it got really touchy for me, right? So he made a post. That post was about, he was shouting out Eugene Kwan, who, let's get real here, is probably the only other Asian knife reviewer like on YouTube aside from me, right? I'm trying to get him on the podcast. We're on opposite coast. He's busy. I think, you know, he's a devout Christian and like super nice dude, man. And then I started, you know, every time I am going to try to get a guest on, I check out a lot of their stuff. And I knew about Eugene a while ago when he was Dashboard Reviews. And like, yo, I see such racist comments in his comment section. Like he was reviewing a Concept Knives. I think it was the Warrior. I have the mini cryo right here. And this is a great knife. A bunch of people from Kaiser, I think they had beef, so they left.
They departed.
Like Kim Ning designed this awesome knife. And in the comments, it was like, Concept, that's some, you know, ching chong shit or whatever. Like, and I'm like, yo, and Eugene is just taking it because, you know, he's a nice guy. He's a churchgoer. He's not gonna, and he's not
dishing it back out.
I talked to him about it. I was like, dude, like, you know, have you noticed an uptick in stuff like that? And he was like, yeah, man, it's ramped up a lot lately. And I just feel bad, you know, like I have been fortunate enough that I haven't been getting that a lot. You know what I'm saying? I've only had the nice people comment and the occasional weird comments that say like hotmilfs.com or something. Like, you ever gotten any weird comments on your videos, man?
It's starting to more and more as I grow.
Like what?
Last night I got some random comment and it got deleted real quick, not even by me. But it was like, we're going to end all white people. We're coming for you. Like some random, like there's BLM stuff happening right now. And I was like, okay, because I posted a random knife video. That's what you like. What? Also, why would you go on like a knife channel to post threats? That seems like not the right target.
It's like EDC videos have the lowest clicks per minute rates in all of YouTube, probably.
And I'm sure it was just some bot comment, they all are. I get a ton of the like, want to be friends, like.
Yeah, me too. Yo, me too. We've all been getting that lately, and
I've started just responding to them and just
I write like,
you or your mom, or like, no, thank you, or like, what do you bring to the table? Let's talk about it. So like, I'll just respond as if it's a real person, knowing full well it's not, because it's fun for me.
One guy was like, I think I was doing an unboxing, and you know, my audience is used to me, like, you know, I'm very open with my life, you know, like I show what I'm doing. Everyone knows where I work, you know, like my family owns a CBD shop, and knife and EDC people have bought stuff from my shop, you know, awesome. and stuff like that. Shout out to A-List CBD. But you know, people are used to me talking about like having like kind of like a community discussion, whether it's 30 seconds to a minute long, even in front of an unboxing video is very common. And one guy was like,
keeps you authentic.
He was like, I came here to, he's like, we don't want to hear about your life. We just want to hear about the knife, right? And then like he immediately deleted it, and then he posted a meaningful comment like right after. Because I think
Oh,
he
that's awesome.
realized like, oh, that is what they're here for. They do want to hear
Right.
about his life, you know?
Oh, also, I'm coming across as a dick if I say that, because
Yeah.
like, A, you could fast
Yeah.
forward, or
Yeah.
B, you could not watch my video.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I love when I get constructive criticism
Yeah.
comments, and I've got some really great subscribers
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
are really good at like pointing out, hey, dude, like if you did this, it would really take it up a notch. That
Hmm.
stuff is dope. But
Yeah.
I get a big kick out of it when people are just like negative about a video, and it's like, I did a comparison. I hope this person who commented this isn't listening. I don't mean to totally single them out, but I did a comparison between the PM2 that I have, the 10V River's Edge Cutlery Scorpion PM2,
Hmm.
and my Super Freak from Benchmade, which I just sent to somebody to have them borrow today. And I did a comparison because I think that's a great comparison. Like, that was the first Benchmade in a long time that I felt was worthy of comparing to that PM2. And
Hmm.
I love the PM2. It's one of my favorite EDC knives. I get that there's kind of camps on that, but I did that comparison, and some commented, and they're like, "This is a terrible idea for a comparison. You should have compared the Benchmade to the Hogue Ritter RSK." And it was just like, A, I don't have a Hogue Ritter RSK,
Yeah.
and B, I did this comparison because I think it's a good comparison. If you
Yeah.
have both, you make that video, bro. I
Yeah.
got no interest in making what you want. Like,
Yeah.
what do I owe you as some random viewer that you
Hmm.
can come in and be like, this is a stupid comparison? It's like, I mean, I don't let comments get under my skin. I literally laughed about it,
Yeah.
but it's just funny to me that people, for free content that
Yeah.
we're just putting out there, that they come in and like, nope, you did this wrong. Like, did I,
Who-
did I hurt you? Where? Show me on the doll
Yeah,
where I
it's
hurt
like
you.
it's free content, man. Relax, yo.
Yeah.
Who do you watch the most? Like, who is like your favorite, like knife guy to watch?
I watch a lot of Metal Complex.
Yep.
I watch quite a bit of Slicey Dicey. I watch Shabazz.
Yep.
There's a few like smaller channels who started around the
Hmm.
same time as me. I've become really good friends with DTOM Knives and Gear. I don't know if you know Kyle. Really nice dude. I think he's coming up on 400 subscribers.
Yep.
And I watch Big Bore Knife and Gear. Scott over there is a cool dude.
I think I've heard. Oh yeah. I'm friends with him on Instagram. We're on a group chat with like Super Steel Steve, and it's like
Oh
pretty
yeah,
wild, bro.
I watch his videos too. That guy's
Yeah,
awesome.
people are like, you gotta get Steve on, and I'm like, okay, like that's gonna be a big episode. I'm
It'll
gonna
be a
like.
wild one.
He said he would do it. I'm gonna save it
Sure?
for like a big number, maybe like 50 or something.
That'd be awesome.
I think this is episode 42 right now.
Okay, you're coming up on it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
I watch a pretty good mix. I love Gerald Outpost 76 does really good steel
Hmm.
testing. Cedric and Ada for the same reason.
Oh, I love
Michael
Cedric and
Christie
Ada,
and Big
man.
Brown Bear. Like,
Yeah.
I nerd out about the steel videos
Yeah.
a lot. I love
Yeah,
consuming those, but I don't want to touch that like those
Yeah, I
guys do.
can't, bro. I
I'm
can't
not
do that.
I don't have enough of a scientific mind for that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I love like I'm probably subscribed to like 50 knife channels, and I watch
Yeah.
most of the ones that come through my feed. But there's also, I keep learning that there's a ton that I've never been aware of that other people watch regularly, which is funny that there's like whole pockets of the knife community seems so small at times, but then I keep learning there's like whole segments of it that I didn't even know were there on each platform. So I'm trying to be better about subscribing to new channels and seeing.
Dude, Backpack B, I'm
Me,
telling you right
me.
now.
I'll subscribe tonight. I'll make it happen. I'll do it right now.
I'm telling you right now, okay? Watch that BRS video. He does this really cool thing called he's like, let's break it down, right? And you see like all these graphics come out, and then he talks about like who designed the knife and all this stuff, and then he'll talk about the designer. He'll have them like in a video like talking, but the way he does it, it's like a high-end production that's done by one guy, and he's like a very like chill dude.
It's impressive.
Yeah. I couldn't believe that this, like, I've always reposted his videos on my stories, and like I tag the makers, and I'm just like, you need to give this guy work, because if knife companies made commercials, like a sleek car commercial you see on TV, right? That is the level that this guy is working with right now. It's that good. And I was like, yo, it's Backpack B, BAKPAKB. Yeah, BAKPAKB.
Got him.
Yeah, dude,
I'm
watch
his
that.
313th subscriber.
Nice. Yo, when I found him, he was like a 200, and then no, I think he was like a 198, and he was like, dude, I got 30 subs from doing your podcast, and I'm like, yeah, I'm
That's
so
awesome,
glad,
dude.
man. Yeah, I love doing that, man. I'll talk to any channel. It's funny, the top three that you mentioned, Slicey, Metal Complex, and Shabazz, they were both on here.
That's rad.
Dude, I felt so lucky that Shabazz was on here, man. He answered the call in a Batman mask, and he did the the interview tabletop, but he answered with a Batman mask at first. I was laughing so hard. Yo, dude, man, we did like over an hour. It's amazing. I had a great time talking to you, man. It was really,
I appreciate it, buddy.
really amazing. Is there anything that you want to plug before we, finish the episode? Your Instagram, your YouTube. If you have anything else going on.
Yeah, no, my YouTube is Bearded Gear. My Instagram is at bearded_gear. And
Perfect.
that's all I'm really focusing on right now.
Yeah.
It's putting out 4 videos a day is plenty at the moment. So
yeah, man.
We'll see once I settle into that. If I can tackle another platform, maybe I'll get to TikTok in here soon. But for now,
dude,
that's where to find me.
I think TikTok is the next thing, man. Just in case we get kicked off of YouTube and Instagram, I just want to have
It's a good insurance policy.
It's just, I just try to be on everything just in case something happens. That's why Nick Shabazz, even though he could go full time right now, he said, I still work. Even though with the channel revenue and the Patreon revenue, I could,
live off of it.
Yeah. I just don't know, it really takes this, like Sony saying, we're not going to advertise on YouTube anymore because this crazy, gun or knife guy, did something weird. Right. So, just to be safe. But dude, it was really awesome having you on, man. You are welcome to be on here at any time. We are giveaway buddies now on Instagram. You can tag me anytime you want.
Tag me too. Let's go.
This is your boy in the NYC. It's me, Ray, and this is the EDCCP saying peace. Yo, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so we can squad up in the comments.